You may have heard of this really awesome app that everyone is using called Notion. Notion is a productivity tool that can be used to organize your notes, manage your business, collaborate with others, and sometimes even used to publish to a website. However, Notion can be a little difficult to understand and get the most out of, especially if you've never used it before. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most important features that every Notion beginner should know about, so it doesn't become just one of those apps you use for a week and then forget about. I'm John, aka The Design Guy, and I'm a freelance graphic designer that uses Notion to manage my business, track my daily habits, and even come up with video ideas just like this. I've used Notion on and off for the last couple of years, but it wasn't until the last year or so that I really started using Notion every day and making it part of my process, not only my business, but my daily personal life. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I've gone ahead and created a completely new account in Notion, and I have it logged in here on my screen. And when you first log in, I'm currently using the browser app, but you can also download the desktop app. You'll see a page called Getting Started. Now, we're not going to pay attention to this page because I've created a page specifically for this video called Notion for Beginners, and I will probably share that in the description below. Here I have the 5 things that every Notion beginner should know about, starting with the first one, which is pages. Pages are the basic building blocks to Notion. You can use them to store and organize all of your information, including notes, tasks, to-dos, and documents. Pages can be arranged in a hierarchy with parent pages and child pages to give your information more structure. This makes it easy to find what you're looking for and keep your information organized. Pages can contain a wide variety of content, including text, documents, images, videos, and sometimes even websites. This makes it easy to create rich, engaging pages within your Notion account. You can share these pages with others, allowing you to collaborate in real time with team members or members of your organization. I'm going to go ahead and show you 2 different ways that you can create a page within your Notion. The first way is if you hover over a block on the left side here, you'll see a plus button pop up, and if you click that plus button, you'll have the ability to open up a menu which gives you the option to add a new page. The other option is to use the shortcut, which is the // So if you type / and then page, that'll also give you the menu option to create a new page. Clicking page will essentially bring you to a blank page. From there, you can give it a title. You can also select empty page with icon and give it a little personality to add an icon as well. And then in that new page, you can add all of your information. So this is new information for this page. And now if we want to go back to our previous page, I can use the shortcut Command and back bracket. And that'll bring us back to this page where we first started with our new page under this section. The next feature we're going to talk about in Notion is blocks. And blocks are essentially the building blocks of your Notion pages. Blocks can contain a variety of content, including text, images, videos, and much more. You can also arrange blocks in a variety of ways to give your page layout and structure. Within Notion, everything on the page is considered a block. For example, all of my headings here are also considered blocks. And if I select the dots here, I can actually move these blocks around depending on where I'd like them to be. Now, to create a block, just like you would a page, you can hit enter and use the shortcut, the /. And when you do that, you'll be given the menu that gives you all the options of what kind of blocks you can add. You can add headings, text, pages, tables, lists, number lists, quotes, dividers, the list goes on. There are a ton of great pieces that you can add within blocks, and this is why it's such a great feature and that it's so important for beginners to really understand this. Alternatively, when you press enter on the page and you hover over on the left side, you see that plus button again, and that allows you to also add a block to your page. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of blocks that I like to use whenever I'm creating a page in Notion. I'm going to go ahead and press enter. That's going to enter me into a new block, and I'm going to use the /. I'm going to type in heading 3, so new block section. And then below that, I'm going to go ahead and add a table. And this is just a simple table that will give me columns to organize information. So for this one, I'm going to have this be a to-do item. I'm going to have a column for notes here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this and put due date there. And then I can add tasks in here if I wanted to. Notion offers a wide variety of blocks that you can add to your page, so I would definitely recommend playing around with the blocks, seeing which ones you find the most useful, and figuring out how you can use them in your Notion account. After you've played around with adding some pages and new blocks to your Notion, now it's time to actually style those and organize them so it looks a little bit better. So under my styling section here, I'm going to add some text. I'm just going to type in introduction for the video that I am making about Notion for beginners. And now that I have my text, I can actually style it if I want to. So there's a few ways that you can do that. One, if you highlight the text, you can just pull up the menu here, which will give you a few different options, like turning this into a heading, making this a block equation, You'll just get a ton of different options that you can choose from. But the first couple of things that I want to show you here are just simple text editing, allowing you to bold, underline, change colors, highlight, and things like that. So right here we have bold, we have our underline function. If you go to this section over here, you're able to actually change the color of your text. So if you want to highlight something, you can give it a yellow background. If I created more text here to test, I can actually change the color of the text itself rather than just the background. And that's like the simple sort of styling that you can do. The other thing, and that's some of the things that we've touched on already with some of the blocks and pages, we can add headings here. So if I use / heading, and I have the option to add a heading 1, 2, and 3, and also in that menu, if you keep scrolling, you also have these other features like toggle headings, which allow you to kind of hide and display information as you toggle the menu. So let's go ahead and add one of those. Toggle heading test. And now if I add information in here, information that I would like hidden, if I toggle this, now that information is hidden. I can also go one step further and I could say that I want to give this section a background color of green so that I know it's there and I know I have information there. This is just a really quick example of the styling that you can use in Notion. Another really cool feature that Notion added recently is the ability to actually style your layout within Notion. So for example, they give you the ability to add columns. And to do so, we're going to use our shortcut /. I'm going to type in column, and you'll see here in this menu that I have the option to add a 2-column, 3-column, 4-column, or 5-column layout. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and click 2. And in order to actually use the columns now that you've added them to your page, you can usually just start here. So you can start typing, and you'll see that everything is kind of kept in this one column. But if I were to drag another piece of content into the other side of that column, I then have 2 columns here. So I can go ahead and put this into the column, and you can see now how it's starting to actually have a little bit more layout and structure to our page by using these styling abilities within Notion. Now that we've covered pages, blocks, and styling in Notion, it's time to talk about one of Notion's most important features, and that is databases. A database is simply a collection of information that is organized and stored in a very specific way. Databases can be used to store information for clients, tasks, recipes, finances, daily habits, and much more. I'm going to log into my personal Notion account and show you some of the databases that I've created and how I've used them to store information just like this. So this is a template that I've created within Notion to manage my freelance design business, and this will also help give you an idea of how you can organize and style Notion once you get the hang of it. But each of these sections here are actually databases that I have linked and contain a ton of different information. So up here under campaigns, this is specific to projects that I would do for clients, and if I click into one of these, you can see here that a database will have a bunch of different properties containing specific information. So for this one, I have things like the payment status, I have project notes, the deadline of that project, the contact that I'm in touch with for that project, and a ton of other different data points that I use for my freelance business. I also use it for things like invoicing and finances, and I'll show you that right now. Over here I have an example of an invoice, and this one is linked to Amazon and working with Jeff Bezos. So I have the campaign here as well as the different properties for services and how much they would cost when I'm working with clients. At the bottom here I have what they call a formula within Notion that allows me to calculate all of the numbers and add them up to have a sum. Now to add a database, it's the same way you would add any sort of page or block, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. If I click enter and type in database, I will get a few different options for the types of databases or the layouts for the types of databases that I want to use. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and use an inline database. And this will give me a simple table. So we'll just call this example database. And in this example database, when you create a new one, it gives you 2 columns already. So it'll give you the name and it gives you a multi-select column, and you can add options in there. But you can also customize these to your liking. So you can either delete this one, delete this property, and you can also add different properties depending on what you're using it for. So if we wanted to create a database about to-do lists, which is something that a lot of people use Notion for, we can call this our task 1, and then I can give it something as simple as a checkbox that says completed. I can also give this a date for if I wanted to change the date for when it's due. Hello, sorry about that. And now whenever I want to have a to-do list or want to complete tasks that I want to stay organized on, I can go and use this database, for example. Now you might be saying to yourself, databases sound great, but I don't want my database to actually look like this. Well, here's where another great feature about databases comes in. Databases allow you to also customize different views specific to that database. So right now we're looking at a table view, but say we wanted something a little bit more simple specifically to this to-do list database. I can go up here to the top of the database table and add another view, which would give me 6 different options that Notion has already included. So we have the ability to add a table, which we're looking at now. We can add a board. So if you know about Kanban boards, that's where this view is. We have a timeline, a calendar, a list, and a gallery. For something like a to-do list, you might just want to go as simple as a list. So we can go ahead and do that. And now we have our list view specific to our to-do database. The other neat thing about databases, and when you're creating all these different new views that you'd like, you can then edit what is visible within each of these views of your database. So here I can select if I want the the completed property shown or not, or if I want the date shown or not as well. I go back in here, if I edit this and give it a date, now it'll show that this task is due on January 4th. And I can also organize this where I want the date to show first before the completed list. Last but not least, and by far one of Notion's most powerful features, is the ability to link databases to each other within your Notion. Now this for me is where Notion really started making sense, because I would create all these databases with all this disparate or separate information, and I wasn't able to actually use information from one database to help me figure out other pieces or other important things about the other database. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log into my personal account again and show you an example of this. So back to my template that I've created within Notion. Right now I'm looking at a project database that I have. And within this database, I have linked a few different other databases that are important for this project. For example, I have tasks specific to that project that round up all into specific task database, as well as what I call a timesheet database so I can log my time. In addition to that, I also have the ability to link a database for my invoices to this campaign or this project, so I know how much money I've made or how much revenue I've made from this one client or from this one project. Now, to link one database to another database is going to use the relation property within a database. And on my screen here, I have a few examples of what that looks like. So if I click here, this is an example of a relation property. If I click it and go to edit property, you'll see that this is a relation type related to the client's database. And it allows me, if I wanted to, if I go back, if I take Jeff Bezos out, I can actually now search different clients within that specific database and link it to this project. I'm going to go back here and click back Jeff Bezos. And this was really great because, again, this started to actually take the information from separate databases and allow it to populate here. So by linking the contact to this campaign, if I click into Jeff Bezos, I'm now able to see how many campaigns that we've worked on together, how much what I call total value or how much revenue I've generated from this client, as well as all of the other invoices and campaigns that we've worked on together. Now, linking databases doesn't just have to be about linking projects or clients together. You can also use it for things like recipes, where you have a recipe linked to a database that is specific to ingredients. So every time you want to create that recipe, it gives you a list of all the ingredients that you'll need. You can use it for habit tracking, you can use it for financing. But again, this is really important because it allows you to use specific items within a database to help inform other information within the other database. I know I've used the word database a lot in this video, so if you're learning from this video, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. So there you have it, the 5 most important things that you should know about if you're just starting off in Notion. If you learned something new from this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if there was something that I didn't cover in this video that you want to learn more about, make sure you leave a comment and I will get back to you right away. Also, if you want to learn more about powering up your Notion, check out the video description below. Put together a mini course teaching you how to use Notion with no-code automation tools like Zapier and Make.com to make Notion work for you in less than 60 minutes. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you in the next one.